Hi there, I'm John from CNCKing.com, and today we'll make a Bartop arcade cabinet. This here is the where you put the joysticks and the buttons. So this is using 1/2" MDF, and these are one of the two sides, and these are 3/4" MDF, all made with the machine behind me here. Now this one here, you'll notice there's nothing on this side. The pockets are on this side. So the reason for that is because what you want to do is have a nice flush finish on one side, but still have enough material here for these parts to slot right in to here. Now I won't actually slot them in, although I would love to show that to you. And the reason for that is because the customer is going to be doing electronics and stuff on the inside. And if I assemble the whole thing here, it's going to be a lot of trouble for them to do it, because then they have to disassemble what I did. And then when they reassemble it, it might be a little bit looser. So I want to make sure they have the absolute perfect product when it gets shipped right to them. So this is the arcade. You can sort of see the shape of it. And you can see how this would go across like that. Now when it comes to MDF, there's a couple of things to be careful about. Number one is the dust. In the shop, I've had MDF headache, that's what I call it, many times. And through the years, I've improved the airflow in my shop, because this very fine particulate just gets absolutely everywhere otherwise. So I have a good vacuum system on the thermwood, and that sucks up almost everything. And then on the table itself, I also have a vacuum system. That's why you don't see any screws or anything like that. The MDF is being sucked down. And what that also does is sucks down some of the dust. And I also have vents and I have fans throughout the shop, all around my thermwood. And what they do is they suck up all the particulate. So it's quite rare I get MDF headache, but I still get it every once in a while, mostly after finishing. So this is finished being cut. And typically what I would do is start assembling it. Well, that's when all the dust gets on me, and then, headache ensures. Something a lot of people don't realize is that once you have the digital file, or we can make one as well, for a specific project, in this case, we'll just say it's the arcade Bartop cabinet. If you wanted this made out of stainless steel, we can make it just as easily as we can with the MDF. Now, of course, we wouldn't glue it together like this one will be by the customer. We'd actually weld it together. But overall, the design, everything would be the same. Now, some sort of design file tweaks need to be done just because the material changes. But we can switch from material to material, process to process, because we have all the different machines in the shop to do whatever you need to be done. Now in this case here, this is MDF, and the customer will be sanding it and fixing it up and getting everything to fit perfectly for their electronics. So for them, having this out of MDF is perfect. It's easy to sand, easy to paint, easy to sort of wiggle with without too much tooling. It's very easy to chisel down if you have something that's a little bit too tight or whatever. It's a very easy material to work with. Well, if let's say we made this out of stainless steel, it'd be a lot more work to try to get the things to work perfectly if there's a sort of design change that was required that wasn't noticed in the file. So that's why whenever I design stuff here in the shop, generally I'll use maybe a 3D printer to make a quick prototype of it, quick relatively speaking. If that works out great, then I'll do it out of MDF. And for some projects here, we do them out of stainless steel and other materials and mild steel. And in that case there, generally what I would do, if I have any doubts about a certain configuration or something like that, I'll make it out of MDF first and make sure everything fits. And if it works with the MDF, it will work with the other material. In this case here, let's say instead of MDF, this is 1/2" and 3/4". 3/4" MDF was on the sides. Everything else was 1/2". In this case here, if you wanted 1/2" acrylic and 3/4" acrylic, so you can sort of see through it, it'd be exactly the same process you see here. The bits would be different, because when you have different materials, you have different bits, because you don't want burning or melting or that kind of stuff. But generally speaking, it'll pretty much be the same. Now, if you wanted to have this scale larger or smaller, it's not a problem. It's a digital file, so everything sort of fits perfectly. So we're basically scale independent, material independent, and machine independent. So whatever sort of design specs you come up with that you want to send to us to make for you, we could work with that, not a problem at all. Now what you see here is the tool change that happened. I prefer to limit the number of tool changes that happen And the reason for that is just it's a bit of a pause during production. I prefer to have everything as efficient as I possibly can when I'm making stuff for customers. Now when it comes to CNC routing and having things fit into each other, the major disadvantage of using the router over the laser is that I can't have sharp inner corners. I can do that with the laser because it just cuts straight and I have a straight corner. But with a router, you have a round bit. You can't make square with round. It just doesn't work. So what you have to do is overcut, which you see here. So when this slots into all these parts here, I've got a ton of parts. You'll see the pictures of it in the video. So when this slots into here, if I had this rounded, that would be really, really bad because then it can't have a flush fit because the rounding is sort of in the way. So that's why I overcut here and here. And I also overcut inside of this. There's a bit of dust still in this. That's just the way it is. So I also overcut here with the dog bones. And what that ensures is a proper assembly of the two parts no matter what. And what you do is typically you add glue in it, then you hit it with a hammer because you want a nice firm fit. Then after you just let it sit down for a while with clamps after about a day, and then you got everything solid. Now that's the reason why I'm not assembling it here in the shop, because the customer, when they do their electronics, they're screwing things in, they're trying to get things to fit here and there. And again, I want to make sure they have the best product possible, and that means I ship it flat pack, and when they get it, they can do their work. So looking for custom, pretty much anything, contact me at CNCKing.com. I'll make it for you and ship it right to your door.